Hey guys, what's up? So I went out to locals yesterday, played some more Edison, and yeah, here just to kind of talk about how I did and um, my match results and stuff like that, and something a little different, or I guess special more or less, is that one of my matches was streamed onto Twitch, and so I'll go ahead and link that later in the video. You can kind of watch me play, and I guess. I'm not sure if you can really hear me, but yeah, it's on there if you're curious on how this deck performed. Since the last video, I only made one change to the deck. It's not even to the deck itself. It is to the side deck. I decided to add in Kaiku because I wanted to see about more graveyard removal. Um, I just never liked DD Crow too much. I'll be honest. Uh, Playing this particular format, I always kind of sucked at using DD Crow um, when I needed to. So Kaiku for me was just a better choice, so I can just beat over things and be a little bit more aggressive with it while also hitting the graveyard. And it's also got a pretty neat effect where your opponent can't banish any cards from the graveyard, which is kind of good. It kind of fights against Dad, I guess, in that sense. So when they drop Dad, they can only attack with Dad. They can't banish for cost to destroy a card. Or they have like something like Neko Gardna in the grave or something like that, or maybe Malicious or Mizuki or something in the graveyard. So Kaiku kind of does both jobs. It only not only stops them from activating some of their effects that require banishing from the graveyard, but it also hits the graveyard, and it's 18 beater, so it's kind of nice. Um, yeah, I just playing the 1DD Crow. And then yeah, for the main deck, the only card I might want to change is I might want to cut down on maybe Icarus down to two, because there was times where it was a little hard to use because my opponent was playing around it, obviously, so it's a little bit harder to use. Or they had a lot of back row removal. This thing actually got hit by Nobleman of Extermination yesterday. It wasn't that bad or anything. Like I lost, like I sided. It was the game two, so I sided one out. So I only hit one in my field and one in my deck. Um, not a huge deal there. But I think I might want to cut it and add like a third Book of Moon or something. I think that might be the play there. This particular version of the Blackwings is heavy trap version because there's several different builds you can do. I like playing my traps to back up my monsters and be more of a control type deck. So yeah, but yeah, with the advent of Vayu going down to one, and me not getting to use Shore's free effect as much to bring out a body onto the board to then combo with Icarus, and Icarus is definitely not a great going second card. It's too. I feel like it's a little too slow going second with it because it does require some setup. Um, but I don't know. We'll have to talk about that later. Anyways, so I went 4 rounds yesterday. Got 3-1, so I have 3 wins, 1 loss. I didn't see what my final placement was. I assume I didn't. I probably got like fifth or sixth or something again. Um, my current local only does top three, so if you don't make top three, you get only the OTS pack and nothing else. So um, I think to get top three, you probably have to win three and draw one, or your tiebreakers has to be pretty good. So anyways, there were about 26 players. I think, yeah, 26 players. So it's a pretty decent amount for Edison. So Edison's been pretty popular and it's picking up quite a bit. But yeah, I went 3-1. First round I played against Mirror Match, played against Blackwings. Round two I played against what was it? Monarchs with Cyber Drag. Oh, Diva Heroes. Yeah, I think it was playing against Diva Heroes. And then round three, that's when my match was streamed. I was playing against X Sabers, and in round four, I played against um, Hamster Monarchs, I guess. Hamster Machinima, or I guess Sorry, not Machinima. Hamster, Machina, um, Monarch sort of deck. So kind of like good stuff deck there. Yeah, and I won that game also. So the only game I lost was to Diva Heroes because I was playing really dumb against Diva Heroes. I was kind of just getting baited into a lot of things, so that was just kind of my bad. I was just tilted after losing game one where probably should have won, but um, yeah, I'll talk about it in a second, but yeah, I guess got tilted and didn't quite do too well there. Anyway, so game round one, I played against Mirror Match Blackwings. I would think I went first. Yeah, I went first. I set up a just a Shura and a face down, and I think my opponent destroys my face down. Summons his own Shura, attacks into mines. I colluded him, and I brought out I think I brought out another collude from my deck. I think my hands was Dad, Gale, and Gale, and collude, and I think that was really it. I forgot what else I might have had in my hand, but it didn't really matter. So my turn, he sets one and passes. My turn, I think I summon out special summon the Gale, link Gale and collude that I got off of the Sheriff into a Goyle, and then special summon Dad and call priority, and blew up his back row, which was an Icarus attack, I believe, and then just ulticate him there. It was 28, 28, 18 plus the 14 took from earlier, so that was game one. Ended in less than like 2 minutes. Game three, two was a little bit harder for me, I think. Um, I just eventually ran out of monsters. I think the only monsters I drew the entire game was Kalut and Blizzard. And so yeah, he just had control of the board. And then I think he exterminated me, got rid of my Icarus, so I couldn't really use it because I was gonna use it with Kalut and Blizzard and stuff. But yeah, he got rid of that. And then went back and forth, but I just couldn't establish a board, and he killed me there. Game three, um, yeah, I was pretty much ahead most of the game. What sealed the game was I had a couple of monsters on the board. I attacked. He activated Icarus attack in response. Um, I had one face down. It was a Book of Moon or something like that. It didn't really matter too much. In my hand though, I had my body in my hand the entire time. I just kept it in my hand. So when he activated Icarus attack, I just my bodied, and that's how I essentially won. Um, Basically killed him. And he -2 and a bunch of life points, and it was over from there. So for what I sided in, I think I just put in Mind, Body, and Starlight Road. Those are only three I think I put in. Um, and if I went first, I usually if I went first, I usually side out Giant Trunade, possibly, and what else did I side out? I think I side out maybe an Icarus attack. So I think I side out Trunade, Icarus, and I wasn't sure if I took out Trap Dust Shoot or not. Sometimes I take out Dust Shoot, just depending on the matchup. Like Dust Shoot, certain matchups they'll keep a lot of cards in the hand, and other matchups they'll set a bunch of cards. I wasn't too sure what my opponent's build was. If he was playing the heavier spell build, then he would have kept more cards in hand. If he's playing the heavy trap build like me, you usually only keep like 2 to 3 cards in hand most of the time. So I think I might have sided out the Dust Shoot and just put those three in. So all three are pretty good cards. Um, I think sorry, I didn't. Maybe I kept Dust Shoot. I took out two oppressions. So I took out Trunade and both oppressions. Because oppression's not that great in this matchup. And just putting those three cards here. I could have put in Thunder King and maybe Juju or maybe a Deck Devi. Deck Devi only hits like 6 cards or so, or 7 cards. So it was a huge maybe. I didn't feel like I wanted to sacrifice a Scirocco to a Deck Devi just to hit maybe a Kalut or two out of hand. So it's not sign Deck Devi. Um, Thunder King would be great going first, assuming he didn't just straight up just summon out a Scirocco, because that was my idea. Is if I went first, played Thunder King, and he summons out Scirocco, like he just beats over the Thunder King. And the only way I can protect it is like with these, but I'm not guaranteed to open up with my trap cards to protect the Thunder King, so I wasn't too sure about that. Or he summons out like Ashura and then goes damage step, kills it with Kalut. That I wasn't too sure it was a good idea to just play Thunder King and maybe not have protection for it. So yeah, I just put in those three cards and it worked out for me. So game two, Diva Heroes. Um, my opponent during his what got me game round one was the game two. My opponent gores me, and I wasn't expecting the gores because for some reason he's playing Blackwings, right? So I wasn't expecting the gores. What I had is I brain controlled his Shura. Oh no, sorry, mind control his Shura, and I special summoned my Gale from hand. Now he has an empty board. I could have just attacked with Gale, did 13 to him, and then sink into Armor Master. I was like, okay, there's no way he's playing Gores, right? So in my hubris, I went into Armor Master and attacked him. He dropped a Gores on me, so he had a 25 token plus Gores. I was like, ah. So that kind of screwed me there. So instead of playing around Gores, I played into the Gores. And I think that's what essentially won him the game was just the Gores token being me down at 25. I did get rid of Gores by attacking Gores with Armor Master and putting a Wedge token on it, and then the turn after I removed the Wedge token, and then I attacked over the Gores. But still, like that Gores token kind of hurt. I just didn't have a good way to get rid of a 25 beater with my current cards in my hand, and I think that's how he won game two essentially. In yeah, game three, just it went my way. So. What happened round two though against the Diva heroes is he also gores me because I attack with a Kalut and he gores me, so he has a gores and a Kalut token. My brain for some reason wasn't working, and so I was still set on thinking that gores token was 2,500 attack points, which was from the last game. And so I brain control the gores token, thinking, oh, it's 2,500. I should be able to beat over, something if he calls a haunted like a monarch back or something, which he did. And I tried attacking the Monarch with the Gores token, and he reminded me it was 1400. And I just looked at him and looked at me. He's like, oh crap, totally misplayed with that. So I had a 1400 Gores token that I brain controlled, and no Blizzard or anything I can do to get rid of it. No Trockle to sack it off, just nothing. So I minus my brain control, lost 800 points, and did absolutely nothing with it. So that was game one of round two, and that just kind of tilted me for the rest of that particular round. Game two though, I did get him. I think he had three sets, and he was about 3,500 life points left, right? 3,500 or something like that, or about 31. I want to say he's about like 31 or so, 31, 33, something pretty close to dying. So I had two Bora on the board, two Gales in my hand, or sorry, Kalutes in my hand. One battle phase I attacked. He book of moons my one Bora, so he takes the damage. He goes down to 30, 30 whatever, 33, 30 something like that. He sets nothing. My turn again. Now I have the option of flipping Bora back up, and trying to attack him with both, deal some damage, or try to go for lethal. But I read his board like either he has a Torrential Tribute, or Mirror Force, or some sort of deprison back there. Or maybe a Book of Moon even. So I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna attack with not even flip my Bora up. In case it's torrential, I just go to battle phase, attack with my one Bora that is already face up. We enter decoration. So on decoration there was nothing. Before damage step there was nothing. I asked him, and then entering damage step I asked him. Well I go Clute once. Doesn't do anything, and Clute again just killed him there. So I'm guessing at that point during damage step he had nothing anyways. He couldn't really stop it. Even if he had a Solemn to stop one of my Kalutes, I had another one to back it up, and it would have killed him regardless. Because he let my decoration go through. So if he had a deep prison or something, he could have removed it, or maybe he didn't have a deep prison or a book. If he had Trenchel, it was dead. Couldn't really do anything because I didn't flip my other Bora up. But yeah, and then game three just kind of went south, I think, because he had the first play, and I think he like Phoenix Wing blasts my Shirako to the board and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I just couldn't outplay his board game three, and it was close. I think if I had drawn like a brain control or something, Might have been able to clear his board, but um, unfortunately I couldn't. So lost that round. Round four, or sorry, round three. Round three, which is where I played against X Savers, and I'll link that video or to the Twitch person who streamed the match, um, and you can kind of watch the match there. I think game one I freaking lose just because he drew pretty well. He drew a lot of one ofs cards that I guess desk basically annihilated my board. So game one ended pretty quickly. I think he went cat and like double Arabellum, and I was like, oh crap, I'm just gonna lose my entire hand at that point. So yeah, game one ends pretty quickly. Game two, uh, go back and forth. I think I eventually edged it out in game two, win that. Game three, where it was devastating for him. I think. If you watch the matchup, it ends in like 2 minutes in terms of like advantage. Because I think he goes first, summon something. I go summon Sirocco. Well, I sided against him. I sided like, these four right here. The skill drains and deck Devi. Um, and I think that was honestly it. Um, and I think Deck Devi, well, yeah, Deck Devi did win me the game. It won me the third game because he summons out Fulhelm Knight, I think. Oh, I forget which X Saber it was. I think it's he had Emerson Blade on the board, and I think oh yeah, yeah, Full Helm Knight. Yeah, he had full helm. He had Emerson's Blade and summons out Full Helm board, Full Helm Knight onto the board, and I debated for a minute if I should use it now, my deck Devi, because I had Scirocco in deck Devi, and I was like, okay, well, he could go into a link play, or sorry, not link play, a synchro play, and go into like a Goyo or something, right? At that point, I wouldn't be able to get rid of Goyo. I think I had a bottomless trap hole face down, which would be able to get rid of the Goyo, but I was like, he already used up his normal, and he has two bodies I can definitely hit. He has one face down. The only card that would screw me in this play would be obviously like a Solemn Judgment, maybe a Starlight Road, or maybe like a My Body or something like that. And that's why I was mostly debating what his face down was. And I decided I'm just gonna go for it. And I flipped over to Deck Devi, sacrificed the Scirocco, and just to see if he had anything to respond, and he did not. So I ended up killing, I think, these two and a cat and an Arabellum, or not an Arabellum, something else, maybe another Emerson Blade or something out of his hand. So I killed like four cards with my Scirocco and the deck Devi. And yeah, he passed his turn. I think I start setting up for stuff, but he has Gravity Bind, so I like kind of stuck, not being able to kill him. He goes. I think he draws this guy. He draws the Ragigara. Oh, I forgot how to pronounce his name. He draws this, and Deck Devi hits it and sends it to the grave. I was like, that kind of just felt bad at that point because I knew he had one Book of Moon in hand. So I'm just setting up my board, trying to get ready for an OTK, kinda. Um, he goes again. He draws another Book of Moon, so now I know he has two Book of Moons plus um, a Gravity Bind, and then I think I try to go for an OTK, but I miscalculated, so I didn't end up killing him, but I ended up putting him pretty low. And it didn't matter because the turn after I drew Giant Trunade. He set four, so I drew a Giant Trunade. Knowing that two of them were Book of Moon plus the Gravity Bind, I just Giant Trunade, and that was basically game. So, yeah, Deck Devi worked out pretty well. It was risky, I think. I could have lost like two cards plus the game because like if he countered this thing with like a Seven Tools or My Body or even a Starlight, I think he was just been able to like OTK me there, and just annihilate me. I'm also when he summoned out the Full Helm Knight and the Emerson Blade, I also thought he might have had Faltro, so which is why I activated the Deck Devi. Because I think at the last second I was like, oh yeah, he just needs two X Sabers on the board, and then he can go into Faltro, and that would just be terrible for me. Like that's what he did first game. So I was thinking maybe he had Faltro. He could technically go into summon those two out, right? Ember's Blade, Film Knight, summon Fault Troll, synchro into I don't know, Goyo, use Fault Troll's effect, and bring back either Emerson Blade or the Full Helm Knight, and he'd be up like a bunch of attack power over my one Chiraco. So I was like, all right, just go ahead and do it. And yeah, it paid off for me. He didn't have the Fault Troll in hand anyways, but I was kind of reading one. Like I just remember the last second Fault Troll just needed two bodies, so that's what happened there. Game three, or sorry, the final round. Yeah, played against Diva Heroes. It was pretty interesting. I think I win first game. Game two, he gets me. Game three, I mean, I don't think there was anything really interesting to really talk about too much that happened during that matchup. I did side in System of the Downs. In hindsight, I probably should have put in Deck Devi. But I think it did System Downs, and I think I debated on Skill Drain, but knowing that he played Machina, Skill Drain would be pretty good on the Machina, so I didn't put that in. I might have put in like another Road or something like that. Um, I probably should have put in Thunder King, honestly, but yeah, like game two was rough because like I think he just sets up like a board I couldn't break. Game one, it went pretty well for me. Just game three, went back and forth. We were just essentially top decking. I had a Bora, and he was just top decking a bunch of like small stuff, like a Raiko. He popped my Oppression. Raiko took some damage there. He summoned set something else that had pretty low Plague Spreader. I think he set a Plague Spreader at one point. Attacking that, it took another like 1500. So I was just chipping him away with his top decks with my one Bora, I think, and I had like a Book of Moon and I think a Starlight Road face down. Um, but yeah, eventually I was able to just did enough chip damage to just kill him off there. So that's how I won my game three. But we are essentially both top decking. Him more so. I was up maybe two cards, and he was just kind of top decking. So yeah. So yeah, let me go ahead and link this Twitch to you. So if you skipped around like I think 147. I'm over here. Yeah, my name's Dewey over here. So that's me playing. Um, and that's the Emerson Blade playing. Yeah, there you can see our locals here is card addictions in Fulton, California. There. So yeah, I'll go and link that down in the comments or the description if you want to check that out. I think it. I don't think I went into time. I think the match lasts about like 40 something minutes maybe. I forget exactly how long it goes. But I think it cuts off right here because something happened. So I think he posted up another video where it was the final part, but I think it was just us on side decking. But you can kind of see I think what happens over here. This should be game three over here somewhere in the corner. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, I'll link that down below. You can guys kind of watch that and see how I played and whatnot. Anyways, that's it. I'll see you guys next time.